Hey everybody, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel. I'm excited to be here with you guys to take a look at the week ahead. So this is a small taste test. It's a little bit of an introduction for the upcoming energies, and I'm excited to go over it with you and using the Lenormand cards, which I have here. So what we're going to do today is go over the astrology for everyone and give a little bit of an overview as to what's coming up. Oh, there's my calendar. I misplaced my calendar, so now I have it right here. That's good. That helps me a lot. So I was looking for it. I'm like, oh, I can do it off the top of my head, but I prefer if it's right in front of me. There's a lot of big things going on, and I would say that this week is one of those weeks I would say that is gonna be a huge moment. It's going to be a huge, it's one of the busiest weeks of the year astrologically, and it could be one of the most consequential weeks because of the astrology. So get ready. And I think that the main thing that I will tell you right up front, if you want to find success this week, it's best for you to really think about maintaining flexibility. This means as things happen around you, try to adapt to them well and try to consider where those energies are coming from and what they represent. So if you get too much in the eye, self-directed, kind of restrictive energy of how you feel things should be done or how things have to happen, you might really struggle this week. But if you really take a step back and try to practice moderation and patience and all of those things, then this week should be really eye-opening. There's really a lot of opportunities for great breakthroughs this week. Many of you will also have your life completely changed this week. So it's really a beautiful time, and I hope that you embrace it no matter what sign you are. I know that there's a lot of content out there that's talking about this is going to be bad or this is only going to be good. And I encourage you to approach this with a very level-headed approach so that you can really grasp the nuance of it so you don't miss anything. So yes, this set of transits is huge. And I'm excited to tell you guys about it. My nails are a little bit janky from the gardening, but that's okay. I've had a really busy, last week was really busy, and I had to take another couple days off, but nothing bad happened, just very, very busy Veroosh. And I'm back. So if you want a reading with me, that's going to be linked in the comments. And we're going to talk about astrology now up front. It's not going to be too much. I'll come back with more astrology later. But I wanted to give you guys like a weekly heads up. This is what's going on. And then we'll do the Lenormand for every sign alongside with astrology. Okay? So I hope you guys have been good. I was going to do this members only, but I'm like, you know what? It's been a minute. Let's put it out for everyone. So hi everybody, hope you're having a great summer. And if you haven't had the best summer, this might be some of the biggest energies yet. Over this whole weekend, we have been under a square between Venus and Jupiter. And Jupiter is approaching its retrograde position that begins this week. I'll talk about that in a minute. And so the square between Venus and Jupiter can really cut us off in our feelings. And we can feel as though life is unfair, as if we're paddling upstream instead of downstream and not getting anywhere. So be patient at this time. To add to this, Lilith is with Venus at this time. We had a new moon here last month, right with Lilith. So there's a lot happening here. So make sure that you're not allowing yourself, your emotions to get beat up, causing you to make anxious decisions. The first couple days this week, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or so, leading up to the new moon, that's on Thursday, are feeling a little bit on edge for personal relationships. So with the added tension of the transits that are coming up between Mars, Uranus, North Node conjunction, we're already under it, but it's approaching. People around you may not be at their best. We all deal with stress, new information, and change specifically in different ways. So be tolerant to the people around you. The transits on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are important to focus on. So since today, or actually since yesterday, Venus has been forming the square to Jupiter. This is making us feel a little bit as though, especially in personal relationships, like there's a misstep between us and the people we love. So you might experience a little abruptness from others. You might find yourself abrupt to others as well. So just make sure that you're patient and tolerant and allow people to have their time to process. If you're a person who's very good with change and you flow with things very well, then you may want to really remind yourself that not everyone does and everybody approaches things differently. Because you could be very flippant or just whatever about the energy, but other people may be struggling a lot. So if they're getting grumpy with you, that might have something to do with it. It's a feeling of me and the other person are not on the same page, or me and my relationships are not in alignment with what I want. So people may be focusing on the darker side of your relationships or the more problematic side at this time. So in other words, this is a time in which you may recognize something about your relationship, be it a romantic relationship or a friendship, that's just not working out. But a little bit deeper, you might just want to avoid direct confrontation. So it's a good energy for maybe noticing things. But if you really want to get into it with a person, there's so much psychology going on here in terms of negative perception that you may end up doing more harm than good. So pay attention to what's happening, but try to be patient with what's going on, okay? So beyond that, there's also some like funky energy tomorrow, and that continues to tomorrow and Tuesday. On Tuesday, Mercury is going to be forming the direct square to Mars. And Mercury is in Leo and Mars is in Taurus. So again, actually what you guys may not know is that Mars governs a lot of how we communicate, our assertiveness and bringing information up. So a square between Mercury and Mars following this kind of emotional tit for tat between Venus and Jupiter may actually come across as maybe awkward, or maybe even brash, or maybe insensitive. So be careful with people doing that to you, but also make sure that you're approaching others carefully. And if you feel like a real pressing sensation to talk to people about whatever's going on, you may want to reconsider that until the new moon, because you might be saying things out of pent-up hostility or frustration that's accentuated by these astrological tensions. To add to this, Mercury will actually form a trine to Chiron by Wednesday, and so that too will form a bit of a problematic energy. So you might be speaking more through your emotions at this time, speaking from your hurt more. We've talked about Chiron. We should do more on Chiron soon, but Chiron in Aries is all about us taking an account of who we are in the world and how that has been impacted by life's experiences. And so you may want to think about whether or not you're not speaking from a place of hurt as opposed to from a place of personal empowerment. So the 24th through the 27th or so, we have a lot of energies that are coming up that may be a little hostile. So that's one layer to it, on top of the conjunction between North Node, Mars, and Uranus, on top of the new moon and Jupiter going retrograde. That's kind of the preamble of what's going on, especially with regard to the inner planets, which is how we relate to each other and to ourselves in the day-to-day. So there is a lot of tension energy about, and Venus is of course going to form her conjunction to Lilith. So we had a big clearing of the air when the new moon happened in Cancer over Lilith. Truth came out. You found out who was who and what is what. But maybe at this time, as Venus crosses Lilith, there could be further complications on another topic that may arise for some people. So it's like Lilith is almost already trying to stir in her, diabolical kind of energy. So be very cautious. Don't lean in towards conflict. Don't lean in towards hostilities. If it's in the previous transits I mentioned, it could be misunderstandings or just people's psychology rubbing each other wrong. Or in the case of Lilith and Venus, it could be actually malice or bad energies like that. So up until the new moon, take it easy. And that's why I actually came today, not to scare anyone, but just to give you guys a good heads up. Like, if you're feeling hurt by your boyfriend or girlfriend at the beginning of the week, don't feel like it's the end of your relationship. They're probably a little bit more sensitive, and you're probably a little bit more sensitive. So take a deep breath. Go walk, in the rain or in the sunshine or whatever is going on outside where you live, and take a deep breath and try to relax into the new moon. The new moon is going to come through with a big force. It's going to happen at 11 a.m. on Thursday in Leo at the same time as Jupiter goes retrograde. So we'll talk about that separately, but it is going to be a grave departure from the 24th through the 27th, where there's this kind of, emotionally angsty energy around, right? It's not the end of the world. Just watch your angst. So the new moon happens. We'll talk about it separately. It's happening in Leo at 5 degrees. So I'm looking forward to it. There's lots to talk about, but it's not your typical new moon in Leo, because the rest of the week, already from now, but increasingly so, we're heading into the biggest conjunction that's happened in years. And so each conjunction has its significance or its nuance. These transits don't happen all the time. It's just this year we've had several very key conjunctions between several planets that haven't happened for hundreds of years. This is the big kapow sort of energy, and we'll talk about that separately. There's a lot to cover this week, and I'm just thinking about how it's going to impact us. But I hope it's great, and I hope it's transcendent, and it's beautiful energy. If you're worried about the conjunction between Mars and Uranus and the North Node, don't be so nervous about it. There's a lot of good supportive energy around that time. The sun is going to be forming its trine to Jupiter that's just gone retrograde. Remember, retrograde planets allow us to reach back into the past and go over past mistakes. So this energy here of this greatest conjunction in Taurus, it's intense, yes. Crazy things may happen. We'll talk about it separately. But on the other hand, this revisionist energy between the sun and Jupiter might give people some pause and might give people a second approach. How would I have done something different? So yes, there's a bold energy here right into August. But I do feel as though there's also a nuance with it. And the nuance is maybe reflective. Now, I hope some dictator out there doesn't start thinking about what they could have done with that bomb. By the way, I just heard the craziest thing. There's a new bill in Canada that says I have to include Canadian content, but this is really interesting. I just heard that you Americans, my friends, I'm just kidding, you guys are my friends, you guys dropped a 50-ton bomb in the Pacific Ocean in Canada and lost it in the 1950s. I just learned this. This is so crazy to me. So there's literally an atomic bomb somewhere in BC where I live, by my house. You're blowing up Veroosh, that you guys dropped and is laying dormant, not dormant, but it's there. It's like unexploded somewhere off the coast of BC. Isn't that crazy? So there, apparently America's lost a lot of nuclear weapons in the 40s and 50s. I don't even know how we haven't talked about that yet. So let's hope that has nothing to do with it. I don't know why. Oh, that was my Canadian content for the day. But yeah, I don't know how I got to that. And oh yeah, so I was speaking about dictators. And so it makes me think like some crazy dictator says, oh, I have a second chance at bat, you know? And I hope that that's not the case in this situation. With this kind of transit, so you don't worry about the week ahead or whatnot, about this conjunction that's coming up. It's usually a mix of really good and really bad. So rather than focusing on the potential threats, which they're always there, try to see what positive things are coming up. I've already had several very powerful realizations, and everything from, you know, being able to figure out how to approach life differently, how to deal with things differently. There's been a pretty dramatic, I would say, tower situation, but it wasn't like a loss. It was a closure event that happened. And so it wasn't anything like active situation. It was something to do with the past. So very powerful realizations may come up that will help you live more empowered. You may understand things about the people in your life a bit better. And some of the things that may be coming up may be a bit frustrating to deal with because it is this Uranus and Mars, very fast moving energy with North Node in Taurus. But be patient and approach it well, and we'll get through it. So just don't let your emotions, don't get underneath your negative emotions. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So that's all I had to say for like an overview. I hope this helps. I tried to make it succinct and not very long-winded. But yeah, so just stay away from bad people. Embrace the good. Spend some time thinking about your life and who you are and what's important, and let the rest happen as it does. I'll be back for a new moon reading, and I'll be back for the conjunction. There's a lot of nuance to these things, and I'm currently having a bit of it's not imposter syndrome, but this feeling that if I put out something now about it, it's not going to be enough because it won't be fully accurate because I still need to kind of think it through more. That's been one of the little problems that I've had this year in terms of providing content. I think I'm at a level where I'm really realizing how much more there is to learn. And so I like to be very thorough, as you guys know. I like to be holistic, and I feel like I'm at this stage in which if I tell you something, I'm giving you a little taste test. I'm not telling you the whole thing, which is okay in a situation like we just did. But when we're talking about bigger transits, like the Pluto return, like this conjunction, it just feels inefficient. Okay? So no drama. That's what it is. I'll tell you what's up. And members, I was going to do sign by sign this weekend. I was taken away, so not taken away. I was busy. And so we'll get to your sign by sign somewhere in there. Maybe if you guys have ideas, members, of what you want to see for members only content for every single sign, then leave me comments down below and tell me what you think, because I'm happy for suggestions. So if you're curious about the new moon, or if you're curious about this conjunction, or if you want a little more information on something, by all means, ask. And then happy birthday, Leos, of course. It's a really nice upbeat energy, and I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so now let's do sign by sign, 4 little messages. They're not going to be too long, but I hope they help. So we start off with Scorpios. I do want to incorporate a little bit of astrology to kind of just consider how that might be affecting your transits. Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising. I know there's a lot of different opinions, but I do think that my solar readings are the ones that I like the most. But for you it may be different. I have the most amount of planets in Virgo, so maybe that's why. I'm not trying to get into a discussion about this, but yeah, watch Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you have your opinion, by all means, share it in the comments. Okay, so Scorpios, before I get into the astrology, let's see what comes up with the dice. Oh, you guys got a Sun in Cancer, so just the season. So something important happened in the last month for you guys. Something important happened in the 9th house, maybe some opportunities abroad, maybe some different ideas. Maybe you spoke with someone, something changed in your life. New opportunities may have opened up for you. But look here, so let's take a look at your 9th house, and this is Venus with Lilith. So who's in your broader world? Who is a potential threat? Who is the potential villain? Who is the person that may cause you issues? Be careful of this person right now. This is an energy that is deeply connected with avoidance, which means that you're meant to stay away from trouble with whoever's coming to mind, okay? The conjunction for you is wonderful for relationships. If you're single, you might not be at the end of this week. This is a huge energy we'll talk about later. And then for work, you might actually really get a second chance at doing things over again in a different way this time around. So let's just take a look at some Lenormand. I just want to give a little bit of a feel about it. This card fell out. So we have lilies. So we have the anchor, lilies. I haven't read Lenormand for such a long time. And then we have the coffin. Okay. Something's coming to an end for some Scorpios. It could involve an older woman. There could be, the end of a relationship or something's coming to an end. For you, Scorpio, I think that your goal is quickly approaching. So something that you've been working towards. I feel like your energy is very strong this week and there's a lot of hope there. But you are going to have to get around an ending of some kind, possibly with a woman, okay? So just little readings. We'll be back for more. So I hope you guys have a good start to your week. And the next sign will be Gemini. Hi, Gemini. Let's take a look at your astrology, and I'll roll the dice first. Geminis. So let's see what's going on for you guys. So we got the moon in Aquarius. Hey, that's my moon. Moon in Aquarius. I don't think that there's any other moon sign that hypes up their own moon as much as people who have moon in Aquarius. I think we intuitively know it's like the cool moon. At least we think so. So I know everyone who has moon in Aquarius has a pretty big ego about it, including myself. I love it. I think that it's the transit of I don't care if you like me, I like myself, and that's a really badass place to have a moon. It's not necessarily the friendliest moon. I try to be friendly, but it's a little bit rough around the edges, but it's a good one. So Gemini is very compatible with it if you're a Gemini with an Aquarius moon. Beautiful position. And we're talking about the 6th house, where is your south node here. So this is the 6th house with the south node in Scorpio. Aquarius moon. We're not going to see the Aquarius moon for about 14 days because the new moon is going to happen in Leo, and the Aquarius moon is in the opposite sign of Aquarius, so that's going to be 14 days from now. Oh, we have a full moon in Aquarius coming up, isn't it? Yeah, so in 14 days we'll have a full moon in Aquarius in August, so that's going to be nice. We'll talk about that separately. So maybe something to do with work that's attached to it for you to pay attention to, Gemini. And then the other thing that's coming up for you is really be very careful with your financial decisions around people. And especially, no offense, I'm not being misogynistic, but women. Be very, very careful. Honor your plans this week, Gemini. Really listen to your thoughts and ideas about where you want to go. You might really have some wonderful ideas of where to take things. Your outside world may feel restricted, like you can't really do everything you want, but that's just a temporary feeling. Okay. Then we have the bear. So the first one is the moon, the bear. I have a feeling that Gemini has a very strong attraction towards someone. Then we have the key. It really feels as though there's like a crush going on or some kind of deep feelings towards someone. And it's beyond just superficial attraction. There's a really deep connection between people here. And I think that that's really going to open up some self-awareness. Remember, when we were talking about astrology in the intro, a lot was going on with regard to Chiron, right? So we have this square approaching between Venus and Chiron, and we have a trine to Mercury. So there's a lot being said, a lot being felt about who we are, and a lot of things opening up within us. Your Chiron is in the 11th house of friendship. So a lot might be happening there. So your social relationships may be opening you up, Gemini, and giving you some powerful insights about changing your perspective. I feel like at this time you may feel a little bit limited in how much you can do, or you feel like stunted, like you can't do everything you want. You don't feel necessarily free. So you have to kind of spend some time with yourself at this time. But that's where your genius moment happens. So, you know, don't be frustrated by the fact you can't go out there and do your thing. Be happy with your personal time, because there's real potential there for wonderful moments. Then we have Capricorn. Hey Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. And one thing that I'll say is I don't have a Capricorn moon. In Vedic astrology, I have a Capricorn moon in sidereal. And I really like the Capricorn moon. What I wanted to say was, for anybody who's watching, watch for your moon, please. It may not be an explicit show of whatever's going on in your life, but if you really learn to listen for your moon, those are some of the most powerful and potent lessons and insights that you can have. So listen for your Capricorn moon if you have it. Okay, so this is Virgo Uranus. Uranus was in Virgo in the 60s, I believe, 1967, 66. That was a big conjunction between Uranus and Pluto. Do you guys remember that? Well, not all of us, but some of you guys were born then. And then we have the 6th house emphasized. This is where the moon is right now in Gemini. Here's Pallas Athena. Okay. A different approach to the methodical way in which you deal with things is really necessary. Maybe this has a lot to do with Saturn over here in the 2nd house. Because in your 2nd house of money, right, there's a challenge for you to approach money in different ways to find more success. Saturn is still squaring the nodes. There's pressure on you financially, potential for pressure. And because of the emphasis alongside the North Node, make sure that your financial approach to things is flexible and well received. See, this Uranus with Virgo, and those of you who were alive at the end of the 60s, this might be a special message for you. Or if you weren't alive then maybe this is to do with something from back then. So you may want to ask your parents or grandparents about it. But there's a different approach to how you do things that will find success. If you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall with something, you're under a lot of pressure, and you will continue to be under a lot of pressure, Capricorn, because Pluto is right at the end of your sign. This is very rare. Not everyone gets to experience this. Plus, as we've known since 2008, 2009, Pluto in Capricorn is no joke, right? So we all know this. We've seen what's happened. No recession for 14 years, until now. Everything kind of bubbling up and chaos in the streets, literally. That's more to do with Chiron. But there's just so much going on. And so with Pluto in the 1st house, in your 1st house, is intense. And so therefore there's a lot of call to action energy here, which means this is a very Capricorn-like energy. It's a good energy for Capricorn, which means just approach your life in slightly different ways and you'll be able to find success from all of it. Now remember, this is just a reminder because Jupiter is going retrograde this week. Jupiter will retrograde over your IC. this until the end of the year. So it's literally hovering on your IC point in this chart. Potential for buying a house or buying property, maybe not right away, but if you've been looking into that, if you get your ducks in a row and get your head straight about things, there's great potential. Be careful of shady investors, especially meeting shady investors right now. I would be careful with, teaming up with others, especially if they're trying to woo you in some way, woman energy. If there's a woman around trying to be your best friend, she may not be. Be careful with that. And then we have the Tower. Remember, Tower in Lenormand doesn't really have anything to do with the Tower of Tarot. We have the Heart. There's a lot of passionate energy, like, hey, let's go after this. There's a real kind of visionary energy here. Neptune's an aspect too this week, quite a lot. So hey, let's change things up. Be careful with your changes at this time, and I think that you will be better off doing things on your own this week. Don't turn down people necessarily, but you may have a lot of these pipe dream moments when you talk with others about the potential of things. And don't lose your guard with that potential. I hope that makes sense for some of you. Okay, so next energy we have is Leo. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Let's take a look at your energies, please. Happy birthday, Leo suns. I hope you guys are doing well. My little daffodil, it got squished, but I still like it. It's cute. I found an eagle feather. I can't wait to use it in the set. It was my first eagle feather I found. I was going to keep it a secret, but I can't. So exciting. And I was having, on the day that I got super busy, that's when I found, I was like, oh, that's a good sign. And it was. Okay. So we have Leo. Okay. Leo. Happy birthday, Leos. A lot of emphasis on Mercury this week. So you might really feel like you want to finally say things. And because of all the other energies that are going on, specifically the square to the conjunction in your career, be careful where you say and what to. Your thoughts with Chiron there, overall, like your overall energy is very self-reflective, very much thinking about how you got here, where you're from, and what it all means. Now, I'm not one to silence people from, speaking their minds or sharing their experiences, but for the health of the changing environment around you at this time, Leo, you may want to choose to speak delicately or carefully around others. It feels as though you might be in a more judgy environment than you think. So your coworkers, your boss may be more critical of you than you think, and you have this added energy from the sun entering your first house and Mercury in your first house, where you suddenly feel like you want to share and say all this and the new moon and all this stuff. But there's people who are not having that experience and they're judging you. So choose your words wisely. I forgot to roll the dice. Sorry about that. I just was on a roll. And it really feels as though there could be hidden things. You will not know where everyone stands. You may assume things are well, but they may not be as well as you think. So Neptune in Cancer, Neptune's not been in Cancer for a very long time. In the 9th house. See, the 9th house, illusions in your outside world. This is where Jupiter is going retrograde. Be careful, Leo. Your opinions are great this week. Pay attention to your mind. But I think that you should build up your guard a little bit here, because not everything in your environment is what it appears to be. And there's great potential for success for you at work. So be very careful how you play things, Be careful with how you present yourself. Okay, so we have the sun. Good luck is in your favor. Let's see what else we get. I really like this deck of cards. I got it on Etsy. And then we have the snake. And then we have the moon. The moon isn't like in the tarot. So the tower and the moon and Lenormand are not like the tarot. See, the snake, that's Lilith right here in the 12th house. There's someone who is the jealous green evil monster, jealousy. And in your joy, look, sun and moon, you will find success irregardless, but you don't. I do this. I have North Node Leo, and my sun is almost a Leo sun. I get happy and my mouth runs, right? And that can cut into your happiness and your celebration. So there's feelings out there. There's people's feelings out there that you're not fully aware of yet. So be very careful around where you show what you're feeling and experiencing. Okay. So next sign we have is Virgo. Hey, Virgos. How are you doing, my friends? Okay, so let's see what's going on for you guys this week. So a friend, betrayal from friends might come up, so don't start, kind of leaning into it and trying to make do with improving the situation. Probably if a friend is betraying, or if you see that somebody's behavior is like not nice, that's probably an insight into a deeper problem. So rather than trying to consolidate that situation at this time, you may want to take note because there's more to it than that. So this isn't a situation of a misunderstanding. You're getting insight into how people around you feel about you. We have Mars and Scorpio. That really, to me, signifies a certain amount of viciousness and a certain amount of retribution. So there's definitely energies around you that don't want your success, especially in career. That's the 10th house. So watch your back, Virgo. And this is, so I don't mean to be all like doom and gloom, but listen, we had this new moon here. I'll reiterate what I said in the beginning just to be clear so everybody knows what I'm referring to. The new moon in Cancer that happened last month, really cleared the plane of dishonesty. So it cut people out of our lives that were disingenuous. Things below the surface came to the forefront so you could deal with it, and the truth came out. We saw this with the politicians and their changing careers and whatnot, right? Well, here there's a new layer coming in. As Venus passes Lilith, which is the first major transit since that new moon, it's going to suddenly kind of double up. To add to this, the moon is going to transit this position tomorrow. So we're feeling, it's like a little, it's a little like stellium between Lilith and the moon and Venus. So there could be a lot of jealous feelings, dark. Whoever's coming to your mind, whoever's watching, if somebody's coming to your mind, you're like, that person's a problem. As I'm saying this, it may not be the situation coming up right away, but you're becoming aware of where the problem is. And we stay out of problems by acknowledging our intuition and insights and following through with what we observe. So if you feel as though someone around you is a problem, there's a really high chance they will be a problem in the future in some way. So this isn't just for Virgos. Pay attention here. Some of your friends are not what they seem. Okay. But I think that you get a second chance for ending something that you didn't end before, change some things up. And Virgo, this is one of the most exciting positions for this conjunction because this is where your life might really radically change this week. And I'll save that for our video about this topic later this week. But yeah, huge changes on the horizon for sun, moon, and rising. Okay, so we have the woman. So women, jealous women. I know that's a stereotype, but it's more because the moon and Venus are there than it's just because Lilith. But the three together, it's a very strong energy of that kind. Then we have a dog, which represents 10th house, friendship. So we have that correlation. And then we have the garden, new opportunities. A friend wants your job, or look, heart. There could be, I feel as though there could be a lot below the surface. Now the sun has entered your 12th house, Virgo. That's not necessarily a bad transit, but sometimes it could entail hidden things. There's a lot going on behind. You're preparing yourself for Virgo season, which is next. Very, very exciting, Virgos. But yeah, so there might be some sneaky deaky little things going on. More focus on yourself. Listen, I've been away quite a lot, but I'm the perfect example of what's going on. This Saturn here in our 6th house, holy crap, I've had unexpected things come up. Now, I don't mean to, like, everything's fine. I'm just, like, hauling butt to be able to be here all the time again. But it's been, like, a rough go at things. And not rough in a bad way, just busy. So many little things to take care of. So Saturn in the 6th house, Virgo. Rather than focus on the friends and all this other drama, keep your head down, focus on your work, get your things done. You might be experiencing some kind of breakthrough. The garden is lots of opportunities. So you might have unexpected windfall this week of some kind, leading you to some types of opportunities. This Scorpio Mars has got me worried because it's like, again, similar to Leo, it's like you're getting some good luck and maybe some people are not feeling your good energy. Maybe they're not as happy for you as you would be for them. So just be aware of that and keep your cards close to your chest, okay, as they say in poker. So we have Cancer next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I feel like Cancerian energy is greatly improving. I hope all of you who had a birthday this season were great. I'm sorry I was called away. Again, be very careful. Cancer this week, and especially midweek around this new moon, if you're feeling in some way the need to correct someone, to speak your mind, to lecture, don't do it. Don't do it. It can drag you into some very long-term circumstances, even if you're right. Even if you're right, don't do it. You have opportunities with new friends. If you speak your mind too soon, you may thwart the success or the opportunities of these new friends. And that will overwhelmingly pull you out of the circumstances that you're in right now. Don't get frustrated that things aren't changing as fast as you would like them to be. You're in a cycle of meaningful, long-term, deep change. So in about 6 months, you will see how big of the change, life changes that have come up for you will be. So pay attention to the Pisces moon. The Pisces moon won't happen until after the full moon in Aquarius in August, but it's coming, so pay attention, and it's in the 2nd house. This could be like a financial opportunity. The sun is in your 2nd house with Mercury at this time. Don't hold yourself back. Poker face. Second time opportunity at some kind of a interview situation, telling your boss that you want a raise, asserting yourself in some way. Very emotional, like self-worth things going on for you, Cancer. Your value vis-a-vis the people that you're interacting with. Let's see your cards. So we have the heart. That's coming up a lot, which is exciting. I had glasses like this, but I gave them to a little girl because she was so cute and she was crying. And her mom was like, what do I do? I'm like, here, have these glasses. And it made her shut up. I'm like the best auntie. Okay, so we have the sun. Just give the kids something. I'd make a terrible mother, but I'm a good aunt. Okay, and then we have the cross. Okay. So we have the heart, the sun, and the cross. Something that you want a lot, Cancer, comes with a price. And that may be the dissatisfaction of your friends and allies. And I think this is the week in which it's a good time to scout out for new friends and allies. In other words, be very careful. I think with this Venus Lilith conjunction, what that could actually be is you channeling and being aware that people are not going to be happy for you, and you feeling betrayed because you feel this, and sort of puffing yourself up and being huffy with people. So you're actually beating them to the punch, so to speak. I hope I made sense with that. So let me explain it again. You have some good energies coming up. Not everyone in your friend circle is going to be as supportive as you want them to be. You pick up on this before anything happens. Lilith with Venus happens midweek, and you may be a little bit huffy with them before they've done anything. And so now you've given them bullets, you've given them ammo, basically. And so be very careful. If you're picking up on something, try to keep it to yourself. Write it down. Piscean moon, insight, intuition, something to do with money because it's in the second house. Okay? Pay attention, Cancer. Good things are coming. Change is coming by 2023. Big change. Okay, so let's see the next energy. We have Aries. Aries is having a huge week this week. So let me switch the chart to Aries. I'm excited to tell you this. So a lot of focus on Chiron. A lot of kind of getting a second opportunity to assert yourself the right way. And Jupiter is about to go over your ascendant. This is a cool time when Jupiter is on the ascendant of your sign in the first few degrees. And especially when it has its retrograde motion between your 12th and the first house. It's cool. It's like back and forth, like, oh, good luck. It's like peekaboo. Like, good luck, peekaboo. I'm back. Going under the horizon, improving your life again. So you're getting some peekaboo energy. It makes me think of Susie and the Banshees song. I really recommend 10 out of 10 peekaboo. It's Jeepers Creepers or something like that. The lyrics are peekaboo, but it might be Jeepers Creepers, the name of the song. Oh, we have Generation Z. Gen Z. Okay, so we have Pluto and Sagittarius. Hey, Gen Z, what's up? Now, YouTube, I don't think sends my videos your way very much, but some of you are here, so welcome in the 9th house. Listen, this is a message for everyone. It's harmonious to Aries. So anyone, you don't have to be Gen Z for it, but this may involve some Gen Z activity or something involving time between the late 90s and 2009 when Pluto was in Sagittarius in the 9th house. This is your 9th house. So there's a synergy here, something to do with opening doors. There's a second chance at something. This conjunction is material, completely to do with money. Be very careful this week, Aries. Take your opportunities, take your chances with things. At the same time, be very careful to make too big of assumptions financially. Don't make too risky decisions, and be very, very careful with anything to do with your house. So improving your house, buying a new house, this is a weird energy, especially if you have like a really friendly, some real estate agent who's buttering you up. It might not be the energy you want at all. Okay, so we have, I feel like you might be carried away. This is the Ring card. You might feel carried away, swept away with emotion, with wanting to build, wanting to improve your life at this time. This is a good energy. We get the cross. So Cancer just got the cross, and so do you. The cross represents a bit of a burden or responsibility that comes out of everything. The bear is use your wisdom, use your lived experience. A friend in the 11th house, which is Saturn, might be giving you some sound sage advice. So pay attention to advice. If somebody's saying like, go slow, this woman, and I know he's proposing, but imagine with no man, this woman just super excited. This could be the look on your face right now. Like, you see the big purchase, you see this big opportunity, and you get obsessed with it. Okay, maybe it's a home or maybe it's something else. And so this bear is your sound reason. It's your guardian angel in human form telling you to slow down. So they're going to be spotting you, make sure you're okay, Aries. But whatever it is big, you feel like, if I do this now, then this will take me to where I want to be in life. So you will really see the opportunity that comes up for you this week as really consequential. So pretty exciting for you with that. Okay, how many more do we have? You guys don't have to keep track today because we have 5 more to go. Okay, that's not too bad. I tried to be succinct. I hope that was succinct enough for you guys, but still thorough. My favorite, Aquarius. Hey, my weirdos, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what's up with the Aquarius crew. Aquarians, holy crap. It's intense, huh? It's been intense because so much has been activated. Something is being really pushing hard on you through your family, through something to attach to your house. Something really is pushing on you to go in a direction that you may not intuitively feel ready to go yet. So something's hurrying you along. And Aquarius is very easygoing, but they don't like to be hurried along at all. If you have a personality type that likes to hurry people along, you know, if that's your love language or whatever, then think twice. With Aquarius, you will make enemies. With Aquarians, you just have to let them kind of pace themselves. That's like the number one thing with dealing with an Aquarius. Okay, so we have Saturn in Aries. That's coming up in a couple years. That's going to be exciting. So maybe something that's starting now will have some long-term consequences, positive ones. And it's in the 12th house. Okay, so 12th house, this is very bureaucratic feeling. So this could be like government, and look, you have Pluto in your 12th house. If something is pushing you with your house, your government stuff, or if you're wanting to buy a home and there's a bunch of paperwork, be very careful how you approach things. Be very careful with how you manage things. Be very careful with how you just deal with, you know, day-to-day stress or day-to-day nuances. This could be a situation in which there's a situation that's emerging for you at this time that will play out later on. So several years down the line when Saturn enters Aries, you may want to be very, very careful with, you know, don't take things for granted right now. Take care of what you need, especially I'm feeling close to home. Things to close to home and in your neighborhood. Make sure you're taking care of all of it. And don't waste time doing things. See, look, this is coming out. Look, unexpected letters and endings in the future. I'm not saying bad things will happen, but this is what's coming up. And you have a path to choose right now. This is a huge warning, by the way. So this isn't saying like something bad will happen. Just be very hyper vigilant with your environment. Be aware of your environment, and you know, take the next step, or just take the next step, or do what you have to do. And don't be foolish with the resources you have. With this energy, it's like use your gratitude. So if you have an issue where you're not really happy with where you're at, those are the circumstances in which gratitude is like most important, because when we're dissatisfied, it may be hard for us to recognize the positive sides of our situation. So really try hard to recognize the positive and build off of that. The bad stuff will work itself out in the end, but you don't want to create more bad stuff by failing to recognize the good, if that makes sense. So this is the kind of very consequential, huge warning for Aquarius. By then, Pluto will be in the first house. This could make the division between the millionaire Aquarians or the billionaire Aquarians and the ones who go through, you know, tumble after tumble. So, and Saturn's in your first house. That's very karmic. Be very, very aware. See, the bear is coming up a lot for everyone. And what it's actually saying is lived experience. You know what's better. You know, choose the smart path. Use your wisdom and success. Focus on your work. I have a feeling that you are meant to put in a lot of effort right now towards something, whatever it is that you're doing, for really good outcomes in the future. But if you pass the buck or create shortcuts for yourself now, you're going to create for yourself problems down the road. That's what the warning, I think, is. Okay, so important. Okay, very important. Sagittarius, welcome you guys. So Sagittarius energy is pretty intense this week too. Most signs are having some level of intensity you know, somewhere in their chart. I'll go into this way more detail for every transit, but I just wanted to come on here and have a chat with you guys as an overview. Okay, so overall, we're heading into a big new moon for you guys this week on Thursday. That's in the 9th house. So Sagittarius rules the 9th house with the exception of your chart, because it's Leo that rules the 9th house. But Sagittarius is the sign of the 9th house, which is big ideas, long distance travel. It's the World card in tarot, you know? So it's that real expansion moment, or moment of expansion. I think I rolled the dice, so I'll honor it. But we have Moon in Gemini energy. So Moon in Gemini, this is where we are at right now. So pay attention to your surroundings and pay attention to be self-aware, because it's the 1st house. So what are you doing right now? Any significant things come up for you today, maybe tomorrow? The moon enters Cancer tomorrow or the next day. Let me just double check for you guys. Moon enters Cancer on, or is, oh, moon enters Cancer tomorrow, excuse me. So did something happen this weekend that's very important for you to pay attention to? Pay attention to it. It has something to do with like how you approach things, the 1st house, how you approach things, how you deal with things. Somebody around you, particularly women, may want you to end something quickly. If you're working somewhere and you have a female boss, she may be encouraging you to leave so she doesn't have liability towards you. So be very careful of anyone encouraging you to quit something that's covertly in their favor. Look at the light right now. It's so beautiful. I was kind of like, oh, I need to use the same background again because I just didn't have time to set it up different. But with this light, it's really beautiful. I really feel like we're in a magical forest. Okay, so then we have the ring. Something really good that you want to achieve. There's a vision of what you want to achieve in terms of your career. The Sun and Mercury are in your 9th house. This is the time to go for it. But I don't think you should be necessarily trusting it in other people's hands. And then we have the letter. An opportunity arrives or you're invited somewhere. So go with that. One of the reasons, I don't think that the world is full of bad people. I just don't. I think that the bad people are probably some of the loudest, and that's why there's a sensation sometimes that people feel that there's so many bad people in the world. It's just they're louder than the majority. The quiet majority is nice, you know? And what was I trying to say about that? Oh, so in terms of all my warnings this week, in terms of, you know, people messing around with us, it's twofold. It's this Lilith with the Venus, right? And then the other energy is here, as I kind of mentioned in the intro, but I think it's important to re-acknowledge this. Everybody reacts to change differently. Some people are like, let me jump into the deep end of the pool, like I'm ready. And some people are just resistant. And it's different. It's not by your sign how it's determined. I mean, sometimes it's qualified by your sign and your personal disposition. But it's like, what are you going through? What is the situation? Like, it's much easy to be flexible with something that you don't care about so much. But it's much like a community activity or something that doesn't have any consequence, doesn't really matter. But when it comes, for some people, it might be like their marriage, or there may be some really personal stuff going on. So be aware that what you may be experiencing as a change in your community volunteering or whatever you're doing, other people may be having similar massive changes with regard to very personal things, very difficult things, and so leave good enough alone. So I'm not saying that people are evil out there. I'm saying that right now is an energy in which many people will be triggered, and not everybody deals with that energy in a positive way. And not everybody knows how to like deal with things. We've been around on social media for a while, and we've seen a lot of people get attention for the first time on social media, and the egos that happen, like, holy crap, like, people don't know what to do with themselves. You guys have seen it, you know, how some people just suddenly feel like they're like, and it's kind of funny to watch. Like, I don't begrudge it at all. I just think it's funny. It's because they're not used to getting that much attention. So it's like, whoa, I even, when I started doing this, was really overwhelmed. It's like all these people paying attention and like treating me like I'm on TV. So it's kind of crazy energy, right? So it's all about like being habituated and learning how to like cope and like what an energy is like. So just know this energy has a lot to do with like how well adapted, how much experiences you have in this direction. So not everyone does. So I'm not saying people are evil out there. Some people are really evil. But I think with this energy, what we're really focusing on is a lot of people being put into extreme situations that they may not have the skill set to be able to react to appropriately. And so like the prima donnas of social media who think, you know, suddenly they're like more important than, I don't know, the most important people on earth, you know, they may be dealing with it in an awkward way. So when someone's being crazy to you this week, if somebody's being weird, let them have their moment, you know, and be thankful that you're not the one who's triggered, that you're not the one who's going through an upheaval the way that they are. Okay. But you do have opportunities. So the little sidebar to that is your opportunities don't allow somebody's inability to cope with whatever is happening affect your prosperity, your opportunities, and your invitations, right? So just take it with a grain of salt this week. Don't be upset with, you know, whatever's going on. Okay, so hopefully that I went into detail on that one, sorry. But it was kind of it was a message for everyone, I think, essentially, about how this energy will be. If you, in other words, don't get upset, don't get pressed with how people react. And if you do, I think that you'll have a much harder week than if you kind of take it all in stride and just kind of, you know, just understand not everyone knows how to deal with attention. Not everybody knows how to deal with change and all these different things. So let them have their moment. You learn too at some point, and as do the rest of us. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Okay, Pisces. Hi, Pisces. Welcome. When I feel the stream of consciousness coming on, I know Pisces is next. Okay. Sun, Moon, and Rising Pisces. Neptune is in effect this week for you. And so there's a lot going on in many different areas, some of them interacting with Neptune. Maybe more towards the end of the week, although as the moon approaches the new moon, it will create a trine to Neptune. What was I saying at the beginning? There is a pretty, oh yeah, moon trine Neptune. So you are probably in the biggest risk of being misunderstood. Okay, point blank. So be very cautious with how you communicate with others and what you say. And if you are talking about something serious, keep it short and to the point. I think that that's a really good starting point. Okay, so, we have Pluto in Aquarius, the next generation. What is the next generation's name going to be? So is it, I don't know what they're called. Do you guys know? Let me know in the comments. The weirdos. Yeah, let's call them the weirdo generation. So yeah, and in the first house, okay. And then we have Pisces generation after that. So if you guys are around with me till Pluto enters Pisces, now that's going to get weird. The next 20 years, holy crap, we're in for it. So Capricorn was the, you know, normal one. This is going to be like Gen Z on steroids coming up, okay? But we'll talk about that separately. So I'm joking around about Pluto entering Aquarius and then Pisces. It's going to be a long time. I think Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2044, and then in Pisces till like, I don't know, 2060. So it's gonna be a big chunk of our lives. It's pretty exciting. Okay, so Pluto in Aquarius in the first house. So I think that there's like a energy here of adapting. Now for you, that's the 12th house, Pluto and Aquarius. But it's like, I feel like there's a call to action for Pisces to start like picking up skills, things that don't necessarily resonate for you as super important. Things like tech skills. I know there's lots of good coders that are Pisces. I'm not down on that. But I'm just saying that like some of the things that are not necessarily like you don't value as most important. Maybe there's like things up ahead that it wouldn't hurt for you to be aware of how to deal with them. I think that's maybe some of the message. For some reason, I feel like Saturn's very important this week for you. This could mean that there's maybe some really tangible steps that you may want to take. If you have a pattern in your life in which a certain type of lived experience keeps happening. I mean, if you know as a Pisces that you really are good at art and creativity, but you need marketing skills or you need some tangible skills, this could be the week in which, look how dark it got. This could be the week in which you feel that energy very strongly. In other words, you may become very aware this week, Pisces, that it's a good idea. Here, I just tried to fix it a little bit. It's a good idea to pick up some tangible skills. And it's not, I don't think you're talking to people about this a lot, but I think it's going to become very clear to you this week that if you want success in the future, in the next 30 years, you will need to learn how to do something and monetize it. Not airy-fairy stuff, which you're good at, but the kind of the stuff that's hurting, the Chiron and the Jupiter. It's all feeling very much like what, and you don't have to go far because you probably will find some kind of solution. I'm pointing here at the 3rd house. So you're going to find some kind of solution close to home and in your neighborhood. But yeah, pay attention to like things that you can do, and not crypto, not like tarot readings online, but what can you actually fundamentally do that will yield for you? Like, what is a depression type of job? I heard someone say this, that like laundromats are a great investment right now because they're depression resistant, which means that when other jobs disappear, if you own a laundromat, people still need to do their laundry. So what is your laundromat, Pisces? Okay. So we have this energy of, and you're aware of this, whatever it is that you need to do. And I'm sorry to sound like your mother, but these transits with the new moon in Leo, this stuff right here, it's really coming up very strongly as the things you must do. Also, the Pluto in the 10th house for me signifies that there's either a friend around you or someone who has maybe not it made, but has a lot of success around them. This could be a friend that's really successful, and you may be inspired by them. So whatever you feel like pursuing this week, I think that you should really start in that direction. It will really impact your experience of Pluto in Aquarius from 2023, 2024 until 2044. So it's kind of a long transit. You want to make sure that it's a good one, right? Okay, so next is Libra. We only have 2 left. So we did good today. We did really good. It's an hour. I wonder if I can do this more often in a kind of fast-paced setting. How do you guys like this pace? Is it okay? Because sometimes I go slower, but today I just went straight to the point. This was like our intro summary. Hey guys, I'm here sort of moment. Okay, so we have Venus in Virgo. That's 9 of Pentacles in the tarot. So something to do with money, possibly. There's huge emphasis of money because of the conjunction between North Node and Uranus and Mars, and in the 10th house of career. So what opportunities are happening for you, Libra, inside of your career? Venus is in the 10th house for you. That's really good for career. It's very good for being seen and noticed. Be careful this week as she forms a conjunction to Lilith. There could be someone in your way But like I've seen, now you're like the 11th sign I'm reading for. I see like a general pattern that many signs are experiencing big surge of success with a bit of a hater energy from someone around them. So there's these haters, like I said in a previous like sign that I was reading for. They may not be bad people, but they're just triggered and not dealing well with their emotions. So in other words, don't waste your time on that energy. Someone who can't deal with their emotions or is handling something poorly could be a real time liability for you, because they're going to figure it out and move on, but they can cause you a lot of damage. In other words, don't deal with them. Let them fester. If somebody's hating on you and work for what you're doing, don't be apologist. With Chiron here in Aries retrograde, you might be really thinking a lot about you might have the tendency to be apologetic to people who don't deserve it. You might be feeling extra context at this time, which means, someone's just being unkind to you and you are essentially, apologizing or like catering to them. So with Chiron in the 7th house, you may be feeling like, I could have done this different in a different life or in a different time, different situation. And you could be really trying to make up for lost time, and that might not be serving your higher purpose. So Venus in Virgo is in detriment. So it's not like a strong position for Venus, but we know from the tarot, the 9 of Pentacles, that Venus rules, right? The 9 of Pentacles, it's the single card. It's the single lady that's holding all the coins. In other words, your strength, like for many other signs, is standing on your own 2 feet this week and pursuing especially financial things. So don't let other people get in your head. It's going to get messy this week. Everybody's going to be acting up. And maybe some of the things that happened this week will come up later. So, okay, so snake again. Then we have the stork. I could see a coworker of yours giving you something new to deal with. And then we have, I never noticed this. I'm going to show you something really funny. And then we have the man with the plan. Okay, look at this. This is so funny. You guys, because I have this new setup, you guys will be able to see it. But in this card, it's a doll, okay? So it's not an actual baby, so don't demonetize me or something. But it's a really funny card. So let's see if I can, because now the sun's come out. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but the head of the baby is like hanging out of the little sling that the stork has it in. But it's a baby. It's a doll, not a baby. And so this head of the baby is, look at it. It's kind of like hanging out, and it's like it's twisted. It's just a funny thing. But the card itself represents maybe something new showing up, a new opportunity. You might be in the favor of an authority, a man who has some authority at work. And somebody could be seeing something. There could be a situation where someone had a negative perception of you and passed on you before, but they're giving you a second chance. And there could be someone around you that doesn't like it. They want to keep you down. So be careful with that energy. Okay, so remember Lilith with Venus. That's what we're talking about here. And then last but not least is Taurus. And this is where the action is. So hi, Tauruses. Welcome to my channel. Let's see what's up with your energy. Well, we know what's up is the North Node with Mars and Uranus. Like, way to go. How's your life going, Taurus? Sun, moon, and rising. Particularly the Taurus moons. I'm really curious, like, how are you doing? How are you dealing with this? Like, has it been crazy? Okay. Oh, nice. So you have Mars and Gemini. Mars and Gemini is like the super, like, sharp tongue, quick to say something back, very sharp wit in the 4th house. You could have someone around you. If you have kids, they could be talking back a lot right now. If you don't have kids, and you have someone around, there could be just some real kind of like harsh things being said, or like crazy things that they're saying, and you could be just like, whoa, that's nuts. But this conjunction for you, this is, I think Virgo and you might have some of the most transformational energy. For Virgo, it's their outside world that's changing. But for you, it's like so deep within, where you are becoming a fundamentally different person. This conjunction has already begun. And it's been happening. It continues to happen. It's just going to grow in intensity until the 31st and 1st. And then it's going to take about a week and a half to disperse. But then there's other things going on in the beginning of August that are just as intense and super interesting, which we'll talk about later. But for you, this is really, really some key stuff. So in other words, all this talk of change that I've been mentioning, that applies to you the most. You may be going through a style change, personality change, all sorts of different energies. I'm here for it. I think that's a good thing. At that same time, Venus is going to create a sextile to these positions from your 3rd house. And so things close to home are inspiring to you. I just see for you a lot of change, and that could lead to change in the outside world. The Mars with Gemini in the 4th house, something could be getting under your skin as someone is being verbally aggressive, or somebody is just really digging in with words. To the point is like, watch your anger at this time. You might want to have moments in which you want to push back to really like crazy behavior, okay? Especially around the home, especially around your community. Okay, so we have the birds. Yeah, it could lead to gossip, okay? And then you feel like there's all these different opportunities, and there's so many opportunities for you. Saturn's in your 10th house, so be very careful with how you choose your career stuff, and you have a good friend and ally. So on the bottom is the house. Very good transit for you. The house is in where the Sun and Mercury are at this time. I just feel as though a good friend tells you something about rumors. Mars in Gemini could be like the truth about rumors. A friend has your back. Again, the same type of energy. Don't watch what everybody else is doing. Do your own thing. And you may be going through a personal change at this time. So we did it, folks. We did it in an hour and 15 minutes. So when Veroosh doesn't go off on tangents, I can be kind of succinct. I hope you guys had fun. Oh, you guys liked it too. So thank you for joining me. Members, just as a reminder, when I post this, leave me comments in the description and tell me if there's a particular series you want to see for the sign by sign this week. We can do that. And I'll go now, but I'll be back with more. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm loving the color scheme here. We went through several different moods because of the light change, but this one's sort of my favorite. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good night. Get ready for the week ahead. It's going to be cool. And I'll be back with more to tell you all about it. Have a nice week, and yeah, talk to you soon. Take care.